Sorry for being late, but I was watching Asmongold react to one of my videos. It's so weird making videos. Like, some videos you think is just a shit post. Like, you just post them and that's it. And then other videos, you spend a lot of times and you make a script and you're thinking of the talking points. And usually those videos barely get any traction. It's the videos that you shitpost. It's the videos that you're just like, oh, well, I got nothing else to upload. Might as well just talk about this topic. And you bring in la pasión. And when you bring in la pasión, I think the content is a lot better. Because there's also, like, some filler content, you know? It's not that you don't feel passion towards it, but it's, like, not the stuff that you'd prefer to talk. It's just that there's nothing coming out that day, you know? But every now and then, this one in particular was something that I'm passionate about. It's how I started my channel, video games. And I love to see how left-leaning people absolutely dismiss the concept of video games. It's like, it's a hobby. Like, I don't expect you to have it, but, like, surely you must do something for entertainment. Like, surely, you know, you're into grilling, fishing, Jesus, I don't fucking know what it is. Probably something that I find boring and mundane, but, like, the idea that you get to judge other people's hobbies as if you don't have any of your own, it's really weird. Finally got your stream live, says Luis at GM. Here's some useless Brazilian currency. They're not that useless. They're actually still valuable. I mean, your communist government hasn't created complete inflation. Congratulations for destroying Dev on X. I don't think I destroyed them. It's more like we got in an argument. I just disagree with his takes. I think he's a bureaucrat and a statist. Bureaucrats are more interested in the way the system functions, in the procedure, rather than the result. And so, the problem with bureaucrats is that you're looking at a thing like USAID, right? And they're accused of destabilizing governments, they're accused of money laundering and grifting, like politicians taking a cut and taxpayer money being wasted, and supporting censorship abroad, supporting censorship in the United States, supporting stuff like pushing for anti-Trump, paying for women's studies in Afghanistan, like all this stuff, right? And obviously, like, I'm obviously not an American, right? So I can only say that, yeah, like, to me from the outside, that looks like a colossal waste, and if I was to have this happen in my country, I would be outraged. And so, like, I understand why the Americans are upset. Like, I don't think you can go into the Bronx, or in Baltimore, or in Illinois, or in any place where you talk with a person that's from a low-income household and ask them, so, what do you think about your money going to treat children with AIDS in Kenya? It's like, I'm pretty sure, you know, like, they're not, like, against the concept of children being treated, but, like, I'm pretty sure there's kids with fentanyl in the United States that need treatment, you know? Like, they would probably prefer that the government is by the people, for the people. In other words, the taxpayer money from the people goes to paying for the people. Like, that makes sense, you know? The children who are dying from AIDS in Kenya, you know, like, they can be helped by charity, like people that willingly donate. Like, that's a completely different take. Hello, bipedal species, welcome back. Asmongold video says that Hill vs. Babyface 1 was pretty good. He actually used my tweet in order to do it. I've been defending Hill vs. Babyface since he made the video, like literally the last second after he clicked upload. I was there. I was in his corner. I was like rubbing his shoulder. It's like, you got this, Hills. You got it. Don't listen to the haters, because you're on the right side of history, Hills. And he was on the right side of history. I do think that it was foreseeable, because the invasion of woke ideology into video games wasn't just cringe, right? The Japanese do wokeness that's cringe. So, like, let me show you what wokeness that's cringe looks like versus wokeness that's shit, right? So let's look at Japan first. And then we can compare it with the United States. Okay, so when Japan does wokeness, we'll look at Capcom first. Let's see if I can find a good example. Okay, I'll take the one from Street Fighter 5. It's fine. it's pretty much similar. But the way Japan does wokeness is that it doesn't go full out. It's almost like they don't personally believe in the ideology, if that makes sense. It's almost like they're doing it in order to placate, which is pretty much how a business should actually operate. And so when you're looking at Japan, they're having like Street Fighter 6, right? Like Capcom. And this is a character. Now, I have absolutely no doubt in my brain that if diversity, inclusivity, and equity wasn't a thing, that if wokeness didn't exist as an ideology, you would not have this character in Street Fighter. There is no fucking way that this character would exist in the game. Right? Like, it's a female character that's built like Zangief. I just don't see it. I don't see this character coming out like 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, or after wokeness is gone, you know, maybe like 30 years in the future. The only way that it would happen is if it's like a comedy relief character. And so you see this, and you're thinking, okay, well, the game is fucking woke, but then they also release characters like this in the same game, right? So like a very feminine character, beautiful to behold. She's got big tits. They play a lot with the foot fetish, right? Like she shows feet all the time. Like the developers know what they're doing. And so like this is the current state of Japan, right? Meanwhile, the West only does this. Like this is their obsession. This is like the gold standard, and the only thing that's allowed. And so like that's what I saw with Starfield. It's like the type of characters that are eyesores, and people coping saying, well, it's Bethesda. Like Bethesda obviously does ugly characters because it's Bethesda. Like they just don't have the money, the resources, the talent to make good looking characters. It's like it's Bethesda. But then they start talking about pronouns. Then like their quest lines are pushing social justice, and it's like, yeah, this is not sellable. You can't market that. I mean, sure, you can try. You can be the little engine that could, but in fact, no, you're the little engine that... You're the big engine that couldn't, because that's what woke is. Like, they hire more people, they spend more money on games, and when you compare the games today with the games that came out in 2018, like, the games from 2018, ironically, look better, play better, and feel better. Seriously, like, guys, this is my homework for you. Pick a game that came out in 2018 and play it again. And you'll see what I mean. Like, once you get past the graphics, you'll realize that, wow, shit, like, these games, it's like, it blows your mind. Let's see, what actually came out in 2018? Let me see. You know what? Let's actually go even back. Let's go to 2016. So video games released in 2016. Let's see what was there. Holy shit! Wow, what a good year! Oh my fucking god! Wow, I actually managed to click on the correct year for this. Look at this, right? So it's 2016. We got Battlefield 1. And this one was really good, right? I hope that this is not lying to me, because I googled 2016 and this is the games that came out, right? We got Battlefield 1, we got Civilization, which unironically I think is considered one of the best multiplayer Civ games in the series. Watch Dogs 2, this one wasn't that great, to be honest, but it was still okay. I mean, compared to the games today, yeah, sure, you know, go play Watch Dogs 2, it's miles better than anything today. Titanfall 2, my god, like, this was such a fucking amazing game. My god, like, I can't stress enough just how awesome the story from Titanfall 2 is. I encourage you, anyone that's watching this stream, okay, go buy Titanfall 2. It's probably on discount. I think it's like $10 or so. You probably won't spend that much. And just play the single-player story. And you will see that not only does it look better than any game that came out today, but the story has so much soul in it. And it's also have like this innovation portal type system where you can teleport yourself into the past and into the present, and you can fight with monsters from the past and the present. It's really cool. Like, and you get to walk into the Titan and shit. So yeah, no, like this is like one of the most underrated games in gaming history, I would say. The reason it's underrated is because of two things. Number one, it came out with Battlefield 1, right? And Battlefield 1 was so overhyped because you get to play in World War 1 again, right? A lot of people wanted to do that. They wanted to go back to a World War setting, and the Battlefield delivered. And so I think like there were a couple of other games that came out, like the South Park, the Fractured Butthole. And so no one played Titanfall 2. And the other reason was that the developers didn't really care about the cheats and the hacks. The multiplayer was bad. But again, like the story was amazing, and the multiplayer itself, it's not bad. But compared to the one from Titanfall 1, it is. And so if you play it now, if there's still people playing it, I don't even know. It's an amazing game. Anyway, enough me asking it. The Fractured Butthole, like really good South Park game. And so like you can see like the quality of these games. They were cheaper to make. They require less people. They were cheaper to buy. And they were actually more amazing in any single way. Like I can't think of any non-Chinese game that came out last year that's from the West that can compete with these titles. And all of these titles are things that I would still play today. Like, I can see myself picking up South Park. I can see myself picking up Battlefield. Well, actually not Battlefield, because like there's probably no people playing, right? It's a multiplayer game. It ran its course. I mean, it's more than 10 years. But Civilization, yeah, like I can pick Civilization. Now think about how many games that came out last year. You would do that. We just wanted to play video games. We just wanted to be left alone. Why did you make me do this? Why am I now hell-bent on overthrowing the globalists? Right, so I wanted to talk a little bit about video games. Because a lot of people... let's go. No platform for... sorry, no pixels for fascists. That's what they call it. No pixels for fascists. So, this was the German government actually sponsoring this, right? A lot of people don't take video games seriously, but a lot of world governments actually do. And there have been programs like this, which is that basically like the governments are trying to control children. This is how I can view it, right? Like they're taking advantage that the children are young, they don't have a formed political opinion yet, and so they spend a lot of time online, and it's like, well, what if we subvert them through the video games that they play? Germany did this with the ADL. I know the United States is right now, like, again, the ADL is pressuring Steam with the Pepe shit, right? They're pressuring Steam to change their TOS and basically, like, have AI in order to listen in to what people are saying and not chatting. To control the type of games you get to set on Steam, and we'll talk about that in a bit. So if video games aren't important, why are so much taxpayer money being involved in it? Like, why are the governments so obsessed with policing video games? Like, we also have Ubisoft working with the British police in order to report on hate speech. The thing with Steam, right? Like, I didn't know this until I became a game developer. I was thinking, like, why aren't there edgy games, right? Like, what happened with edgy games? Like, games like Manhunt. Games like Postal. You know, even games like South Park, right? Like, what are the games that have, like, edgy humor that are, like, the 4chan type of games? What are they? And so, when you look at the Steam's terms of service, you realize that they have stuff like no hate speech, no offensive content, and so the rules are kind of vague, because, like, what is hate speech, right? Like, what does it mean, offensive content? Like, let's look at a game like Postal. Is picking up a stray cat and using it as a silencer for your gun. You put the butt of you put the gun into the cat's anus, right? Like, that's something you can do in Postal. And it's a classic game, right? Like, it's a parody game, it's satire, right? And when you fire the gun, the cat goes meow. You can pee on people. Like in Postal, you can just unzip and just take a piss on people. There's even a quest to pee on your father's grave. And so, would that game be made today? Now, Postal is on Steam because it has been grandfathered in. And I think, like, if they make a Postal 4, they probably could get away with it. But if I were to make a game like that, I don't know. It's up to the moderator. Like, am I going to get a moderator that's a leftist? Chances are they're not going to allow my game. Now, to make a game, it's very expensive. Like, you get to spend at least $30,000 in order to make a game. But like, if you want to make something like Postal, well, you probably need to spend like $200,000 at least. And so the question comes, like, is it worth it? Like, do you want to be a cheeky little shit and invest $200,000 in a game and then risk the game not being allowed on Steam? Because that's where your sales are. That's where your market is. And so this is why you don't see edgy games. Yeah, I mean, even a game like Hatred could get banned today. Like, Hatred actually managed to pass that time, but Hatred is a game about a person that just wants to shoot people, right? Like, he's a psychopath, a lone wolf. He's a shooter. And so, like, you're shooting civilians. That's the game. Which, to be honest, is not, like, it's not really that interesting. The novelty wears off really fast. Like you're starting by shooting civilians, and then you shoot up a police station, and then the SWAT comes after you, and then the military comes after you, and you have like different levels where you're hiding in sewers and shit. It's an okay game, but like, my god, did it cause assert when it came out. No, it's not a school shooter. Like, you don't actually go into a school. Funny enough, like even they didn't go there. But like, you do go into a police station. I think like the game starts, if I remember the game, because I played it at the time, the guy, again, like, he's mad at the world. Like, he doesn't have any ideology. He's not, like a leftist or a right-winger. No, he's just like mad at the world. Doesn't explain why. And he arms himself up with a couple of rifles and grenades, and then he goes out in his neighborhood and starts shooting people. Like, he goes into people's houses, he just like shoots everything. And then the police says that people can find safety at the police station, and your mission is to go into the police station and shoot everyone. And after you do that, the SWAT comes after you, and I think like you actually go into the sewers, and after that you go into a military base or something. And so yeah, it doesn't have a school setting, which again, it's an American thing, because like in Europe it wouldn't be that offensive, but in America I understand the cultural thing. Postal 3 was not great. Yeah, even the developers admit it wasn't. I would kill for a rebirth of Duke Nukem. Seriously, like, now would be the time. Like, now you could actually make a game with like a Chad. I would actually make a first-person shooter if I had the money. If my game sells, this is what I would make. I would make a game called Chad, and it would be a first-person shooter, and you'd have like a guy like Duke Nukem, but like, obviously, there would be like copyright infringement, so you can't name him Duke. But it would be like the most toxic guy ever imaginable. He would be Chad, and like maybe he's fighting an alien menace or something like that, and just makes like satirical commentary as he goes through, and you have like a lot of parody and satire going on. Yeah, pretty much, like, Hatred is kind of like a rampage mode in GTA. I do agree with that assessment. And people were losing their minds over it. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about the video games, right? Because a lot of people are really upset about this, and it's not even my take. Like, this is an observation. This is, like, what actually happened. This is not me, like, saying, oh, this is what I wish would happen, or no. Like, back in 2014, a lot of people generally didn't give a shit about politics. Like, most of the people that I hang around with, and I was hanging around with a lot of foreigners, and they just didn't care about politics because they were gamers, right? So, like, they were playing video games. And, the social justice activists that came into the game, they stuffed Anita Sarkeesian. You couldn't just watch a stream about video games without seeing her. Like, all of these bizarre morality, all of these bizarre nonsenses that made no sense. It's like Mario is about sexism and misogyny, because it's like, what the fuck is this woman smoking? Is she on crack? What does she mean, like, Mario is about the patriarchy? It's like, is she insane, right? But then you notice that other people were believing her and shit, and those people are now attacking you, they're calling you a fascist, and you start hating these people. It's literally like, imagine this, right? You know how annoying it is when you have a vegan that starts screaming at you that meat is murder? Well, the thing with the vegan is that eventually you can get away from the vegan. Like, he pops up at a restaurant, he pops up at a museum or some shit, it doesn't fucking matter, but like, it's in a public place, and eventually you get away from him. But these chuckleheads, they want to do an escapism. It's like the place where you're trying to get away, you find them. Asmongold put it best, you are trying to get away from these people, and then these people appear into your video games. And such, like, there was no outlet, there was a lot of spite. And so it's like, who are these people and who do they hate? And that's why people meme. Like, a lot of people were voting and supporting Donald Trump as a meme. Simply because it upset the feminists. Like, I'm not kidding, at least in my circle of friends, and I assume, like, my circle wasn't that niche. Because I was going on a lot of gaming forums and stuff, and that's when, like, a lot of people were generally supporting Donald Trump. Because they didn't think that he would be competent. He was the politician, right? Like, they genuinely thought that it's a meme. PewDiePie was supporting Donald Trump while everyone else was basically saying, oh, he's a misogynist because he said grab her by the pussy. Oh my fucking god. The horror. And this is the other thing, like, we have to pretend that a rich person saying, if you're rich, women ask you to grab, I think he said like this, right? If you're rich, women allow you to do anything you want. You can grab them by the pussy. Like, that was the thing. It's like, well, where was the lie? Yeah, like, if you're a wealthy person the size of Donald Trump and you have, like, your own business empires, yeah, I'm pretty sure that women, when they see you, they are willing to allow you to grab them by the pussy. Yeah, like, there's nothing that's actually a presidential move right there. The president... See, this is what, in my game, what Chad would have, like, the presidential move. But, no, like, everyone was pretending that it's about the lack of consent, but, like, within the context, it's obviously because it's with consent, right? Because it's like, if you're rich, they allow you to do it, right? It's not like, the idea is that other people want to grab by the pussy, but they can't. Why? Because they're not rich. Like, logically it sounds, structurally it makes sense. But you gotta be a leftist to not understand. And anyway, right, like, people were supporting Donald Trump specifically because of the meme, and specifically because it pissed off the feminists. But there is, like, one more thing that happened, which I also think is a huge driving factor into why you're going to get J.D. Vance next election. Like, this is my prediction, okay? This is my prediction right now. J.D. Vance will win, 2028. This is not like whether I like it or not. And by the way, I may not like this Trump administration. I have no clue. But I will make the argument why I think J.D. Vance will win 2028. There are two types of Zoomers right now. The Zoomers before COVID and the Zoomers after COVID. The Zoomers before COVID, they still managed to catch the era with the flip phone. They don't know what a TikTok is. They're very liberal, very, very Joe Biden oriented. They're what is it, like the sissy guy, the one, right? Like that's like the Zoomers before the pandemic. And my fucking god, the Zoomers after the pandemic, after the government locked them up, after the government fucked with them and their parents. These are the Zoomers that grew up with a smartphone. These are the Zoomers that had TikTok as their formative years. And they are right-wing as fuck. Like, my fucking god. Like, these Zoomers are of a right-wing mindset that's way beyond even what I'm capable of. Like, 4chan from the day would be... Like, they would look at 4chan and they would consider it, like, extreme leftist degenerate stuff. Like, they know. Like, seriously, like, you look at some of the forums where the Zoomers are posting, the ones after the pandemic. I mean, dude. If I mastered the most right-wing take I can, like, they would call me a degenerate leftist. So this is why I think J.D. Vance will win. Lockdowns, yes. Like, during the lockdowns, a lot of people were like, they wanted to find extremism. Like, where's the extremism online? No, the extremism was in your bedroom. Your son was becoming an extremist during the lockdowns. Like, yeah, like this is a level of psychological abuse that was inflicted on the young generation that I got to experience in the Romanian elections. Like in the Romanian elections, the extremist candidate is now an institution, which is why they canceled the election. But it's okay, like they will have to do it again. The extremist candidate is going to be an institution. Like the Zoomers are going to keep sending clown cars to the circus. And it's not a Romanian thing. And take into account in Romania, the lockdowns were really, really okay compared to the UK, compared to other places. American Outlier, hi V, I hope things are good with you left upset about games again. No, it's just like history, American Outlier. Like, you didn't catch the time, but a lot of gamers got radicalized during Gamergate, and then they got radicalized again during the Sweet Babying situation. Bro, if you decided making Chad, I will invest just like I did in Elysium. I have lots of awesome ideas. Well, unfortunately, I don't think I can make that game, because making a first-person shooter would actually require me to have a proper development studio. Like, it wouldn't be just a couple of guys making a small project. It would be at least an entire team, and the game would probably cost around $200,000 or more. And so, yeah, I don't think I would make it. But it would definitely be like an interesting thing, you know, have a video game called Chad, and his presidential move is to grab her by the pussy. Halo just hired the Concord dev. Yeah, it's a grift. Like, unironically, these corporations have become way too big. Like, these gaming companies are becoming way too huge. They're kind of like nations. And so they are getting grifted. You know, just like the NGO uses its grifting abilities on the governments, so too do these activists grift the private sector. Like, there is no justification why a writer for a game like Concord, sorry, not Concord, Dragon Age Vanguard, right, Veilguard, there's no reason why that person would ever get a job in the industry again. And it used to be like that in Hollywood. You know, like, there used to be a time when Hollywood actually hired by merit. If you're an actor and you started a movie and you did a bad job, or even if you did a good job but the movie just flopped, other directors were very iffy about working with you. And there's like a lot of good actors that lost their careers simply because they were unlucky enough to get in a movie that had a bad script or it didn't get well received. By the way, what's the name of that chick? Brie Larson. Is Brie Larson ever going to get a new role? I haven't seen her anymore, right? The lady that can't smile. The lady that politicized the smiling. She got the turd-flinging monkey banned from Xitter because he photoshopped a smile on her face, and apparently that's bad. Jack Dorsey thought that's like pornography, like photoshopping a smile on a woman. No. Merit is a big word. Well, I can tell you that Hollywood doesn't use the casting couch anymore. I mean, did you see the women they're casting? Holy shit. You can say whatever you want about Epstein. No, not Epstein, the other one, Weinstein. And they're all ending with Steins. For some reason, I get them confused. You can say whatever you want about Weinstein, but he actually knew how to cast pretty women. Like, ever since Weinstein got arrested, he got zooked, all the other actresses, they look like hags. Look like dirty hags. She learned to stop talking about the message? I don't know. I still remember. Like, when I see her face, I remember the message. She talked about the message so good, it's so difficult for me now to disassociate. I can't disassociate Brie Larson from the message. She was a very good messenger. Yeah. Hey, look, I do these Freudian slips, but I'm dodging the ADL like it's the Matrix. Speaking of games, right? Let me show you something medieval, American Outlier. Let me show you something medieval. There's this game that it's called Kingdom Come Deliverance. And it's inspired from historical authenticity, right? And what can be more historical authentic than peasants kissing? La homosexual. Oh, Le California has invented the time machine, and they're going back into the past to push their Californian values on the entire Europe and then dominate. By the way, the journalists are not making it easy for the developer. I wonder if they're doing this on purpose, because like the developer is trying to stay away from this controversy as much as he can, right? You know, he released the game when the pendulum is swinging. So like he was unfortunate enough to release, like when he started making the game, homosexuals were the spice melange, right? Like no game manages to get released without without the boot sex. Like the boot sex was paramount. If you're an American and you're making entertainment, you gotta put in the boot sex. You gotta need the boot sex, because that's what the Americans want to see. Now apparently the pendulum is swinging and it's like, oh, boot sex? No, that's woke. Are you with Jesus? No, I'm just against woke. You know? And so he's in a position where he's like, well, no, it's not a checkbox. It's like, and then IGN, look at the options there. If you, like the moment you start the tutorial, the main character craves that man meat. You are going to journey on an adventure with your best friend in order to discover your romantic feelings in the medieval time. And this guy that used to be a humanizer in the first game, he wants your man meat as well. He wants that boy pussy. And you're going to stuff your tongue down his mouth, and that is the Kingdom Come Deliverance experience that the developers want you to get. 9 out of 10 IGN. I'm not sure that's going to help the developers, IGN. I mean, the thing is, like, they really hate this guy when he made the first game. So when he made the first game, he got in a fight with some social justice activist because the social justice activists were like, where are the black people? What are you hiding them? Where's the African Americans? I looked everywhere. I looked everywhere in your gaming world and I couldn't find a single African American. What is wrong with you? How can you make a game without African Americans? And the guy was like, look, dude, it's medieval Europe, all right? Like, it's medieval Europe. We don't have planes. African Americans aren't in the Schengen area, right? Like, there's a different... No, that's horseshit, that's rubbish. Europe was always diverse. It was the melting pot of the world. Everyone in Africa was in Europe back then. It's like, blah, 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 blah. And he was basically arguing with this guy. And the guy lost, you know? Like, people told him to fuck off. People explained to him how to go fuck himself. And so the game journalists really hated Kingdom Come. And what they hated the most is like, well, how are gamers loving this game? We were told that diversity is good. Like, we're trying to preach the message that diversity is good. We're trying to put our friends to grift in these companies. How can I justify that my friends should grift at Ubisoft if Ubisoft looks and sees a popular game without diversity? And so they really hated it. They did. And now they're in a pickle because if I was at IGN and I really wanted to spy this developer, this is how I would do it. I would give him a 9 out of 10. And then I would praise the homosexuality in the game. Knowing what the current culture is, that's literally how I would play it. And I would even give him an email with just a smiley face. I wouldn't say anything, you know, like I just emailed Vavra, the developer, like, you know, like from sender, IGN.com, subject, smiley face. And then in the context of the letter, a dot. You know, and he would get it. Like, he would know what I've done. Just a smiley face. Mad move, I know. But I was thinking, like, Moist Critical will surely shield this game.
Alright guys, Moist Critical here, and what I want to talk about today is just how unhinged people have become. I mean, you just have like a little gay kiss, just a little gay kiss in a video game, and everyone is up in arms. Like, well, what is so bad about that? I mean, it's like, I personally don't understand. It's like, why are people so extreme nowadays? I mean, it's not so bad compared to Baldur's Gate, where you have sex with the bed. Well, that was bad, but like this is nothing. Anyway, that's all I want to say about that. There, you don't have to watch this video now. I already told you how it's going to be. Moist Critical is voicing a character in the new Telltale game starting out. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Do Asmongold? I can't do Asmongold. I don't know. Like, he's much smarter than me. He's got like this modern Diogenes take. Like the thing with Asmongold is I don't know. It's like the hobo millionaire look. But he's like rich as fuck, but he can't hire a single cleaning lady. Holy shit, SRC Maker, thank you for the 5 memberships. And Edge50, thank you for the 5 Bulgarian. We will be tortured with woke games for at least another 5-6 years before we start getting better games. 4 years, actually. 4 years, probably less. The development cycle of a game is around 4 to 5 years. But like some of them may actually do some minor changes and some cuts, so who knows? Lack of underlying tone of butthurt, but otherwise a convincing impersonation. Apparently, there is a quest in the game where you rescue Jewish people from a program. I mean, of course there is. Why wouldn't there be? Can you imagine if you make a game where, I don't know, like some sort of community? Right, because this is why they don't get it. It's like, why are people outraged? Oh, so what if you rescue Jewish people from a program? And it's like, well, no, I get it, but like, you're basically saying it's like, why are people giving a backlash? What if there was a game where a group of people are conspiring to, I don't know, falsify coins in Britain, right? So it's like it's during the English era, right? Like you're in England. And you're part of a minority that's trying to create false coins. And you're causing economic damage to the entire kingdom, right? And your job is to apprehend those individuals. Right? Now, how do you think that would be received? Huh? Oh, so maybe like we can stay away from certain topics, if not, or you can tackle them, but also admit that not 100% of people will agree with your take. No, well, the argument isn't that Jewish people didn't exist or that they weren't persecuted. That's not the argument. No, the argument is like, oh, God, another social justice trope. Ugh, another one. Like, how many games have we not seen the trope? It's kind of like, what if we did the reverse trope? Like, what if we actually saw some of the reasons for the persecutions? They may be justified or unjustified, but like, surely like people don't start persecuting out of nothing. It's like one day people decided, you know what? Today we will persecute. It usually has a build-up. It usually has like some causes. Again, some justify, some not. Do you want to explore those? No? Why not? Oh, because your game would probably get into controversy. I see. But that's the good thing, isn't it? Like the controversy. If the game has controversy, then it's fucking interesting. Yeah, like for instance, allow the player choice. Allow the player choice to save the Jewish people from the program or to join the City Watch. Well, if you do that, then it's not okay, right? I'm willing to bet if you can join the City Watch in order to help with the program, then no one will complain. Like, if you have the choice, right? You play the game and you get to decide. Anyway. Do you know that I bought one of those things that do mineral water into your house? The fuck is it called? SodaStream. I'm not sponsored by them, but I'm happy with the product. Like, you literally just take faucet water
and you put it in this thing, and it turns it into soda. And I'm pretty sure like some will tell me that it's getting negative health benefits or some shit. But like it's really nice. It's helping me lay off the coke, not the drug, the cola. Why is cola called Coke? Never understood. Did it actually I think it actually did have Coke at one point. Is it worth it? Well, apparently it can explode on you, so every single time I go and I use the device, I feel like I'm taking I feel like I'm doing something really edgy. But basically the way it functions, it's actually quite cheap. It's less than $100 here. Depending on the model you get, it's kind of like this. I mean, there's many brands, right? I'm not sponsoring one brand or another. It's just like the device itself is what's interesting. So you have like this bottle, which apparently if you don't change it after 5 years, it can explode. And you fill it with water from the tap or the sink if you're in America. Fill it with water, and then you put it here, and it makes it like really, really fizzly. It's actually extremely fizzly. It's really nice. And there you go. You have your soda. The downside is that it has like a gas canister behind, which you need to replace. I don't know like what is the quantity, like how often you can use it before you have to replace it. But it's really cool. I'm really happy with it. No, you're not supposed to use syrup. Like, if you use syrup and the machine gets defective, then you don't get warranty. But you can actually add syrup after, right? So, like, first you put the syrup inside, you put the water inside, and then you add the syrup, and then you get... Nah. You have the exact one? Oh, I see. Oh, you can actually buy syrups for them? That's interesting. Well, the thing is, like, I'm trying to lose weight a little bit. I understand that Short Fat Otaku lost weight, and therefore I need to rise myself up to the challenge. I can't allow him. To have one up on me. I literally had this for years. And then, like, I just bought it. Holy shit. Why are people so aggressive? It's like every time I discover something, like, why must it be like a brand invent? I just got it, and I'm happy with it. Holy shit. People are so mean now. It's like, oh, I had it for 10 years. Yeah. Good for you. I don't think, like, drinking sugar-free is good, actually. You know, Donald Trump did say the wisdom. He has not met a single thin person that drinks Diet Coke, so... Who was persecuted harder in Europe? Jews or non-Christian Gentiles? Depends, like, which country you're talking about. Depends, which era. Like, usually, you need to understand, European mentality was, like, very different than what we have today. I mean, the idea of multiculturalism and shit, like first of all, language barrier was a huge thing. But secondly, like, most people weren't allowed to travel willy-nilly. Like, everyone, you know, was set on their own village. And if you wanted to travel, you needed permission from your noble. But to answer the question, yeah, like, most people were very tribalistic back then. To the point where everyone was sitting in their own enclaves. Like, people rarely mingled. And depending on the community, they would have prejudice towards one another. Now, usually it was an event that would spark an actual pogrom or something like that. The event could have been, like, twofold. Number one, the king got himself into a scandal, a controversy, and he needs a scapegoat. Like, that could happen. But it could also happen that, you know, like, a member of a group would cause something, or a crime that created a big scandal.
Like whether it's sexual abuse or they were caught forging money or, but like something that would create a scandal. And then, like, people would start going from village to village, angry, demanding justice, and then they raise the pitchforks, and it escalates from there. I can describe to you one of these events from my country, which happened during communism. And I can tell you exactly how it went down. So, during communism, the borders were locked. So Romanians couldn't actually leave the country, right? Like the borders were locked not to keep people out, but to keep people in. And we're talking about the 1950s, 1960s. Like it's a recent event, but I want you to understand the mentality for mob justice. And so, again, like people were locked in, but there were a lot of Muslims that would come into Romania in order to study at various universities. And Romania was a very harsh place under communism. It was like North Korea. Like you had shortages of everything. You didn't have anything that was from the West, with one exception. And that exception was called a shop. Right? Now, shop said in English in a Romanian socialist national, right? So it was actually like called in English, shop. And that was made for foreigners, like people who actually came into Romania as foreigners. And they spoke English, so that's why it was called a shop, so they know what it is. And in that place, you could actually find Coca-Cola, you could find Camel cigarettes, Winston cigarettes, you can find all sorts of Western products, right? And the reason that Romanians couldn't buy from it is that they only sold it in dollars. So, like, if you went to a shop, you needed to have dollars in order to buy stuff, but it was illegal for Romanians to have dollars. So the only way to actually operate a shop was if you were a foreigner, right? And so a lot of Muslims had the bad idea of buying stuff from the shop and then flaunting it in front of Romanian citizens. Right? So, like, they would go into the shop and then they would come with a bottle of Coke and drink it in front of everyone, like showing that they have... That didn't go very well. And then there was... and this became like a trend, right? Like this whole idea that they're better than us. Look how rich and wealthy they are compared to us. Look at the clothes that they're wearing compared to us. Look at the stuff that they're buying. A lot of politics are built on spite and envy, right? And so one day, there was a scandal in a student dorm. I think it was about either sexual misconduct or something like that. Or just the girl cheated on the guy with a Muslim. I don't know exactly what happened, but basically it ended up bad. And it ended up with beatings, and more students joined up, and eventually the entire dorm of students just, they beat, I think like they hospitalized, if not worse, some of the Muslim students there. And then they went out, and so they went from one student dorm to another, and they were getting numbers, right? Because, like, all of them were angry of the situation, like, why are foreigners treated better than us, the whole thing. And it actually got to an entire, like, city, like, filled with the students. They were filling the streets, breaking windows, protesting, beating the living shit out of anyone that didn't look like them. It was... difficult for the communist regime to handle it. Like, immediately they cut the phone lines, started controlling the spread of miscommunication. They blocked traffic to and out of the city. I think, like, they said that that there were, like, some terrorists or something that caused some chaos, but now the situation is under control. So, like, they would turn people back that had business in the city. The phone lines were cut. The papers wouldn't report on it. Internet didn't exist back then. But basically, that's how it starts, right? Like, you have the legit grievance in a way, it's kind of legit, kind of not, right? Because, like, not all of the Muslims were going to the shop and displaying the fact that they have wealth and displaying the drinks that they can afford to the Romanian citizens. But a significant number of them did in order to create the stigma on all of them, right? And then when you have, like, another one actually doing something like a crime, abusing a girl or something, then, like, all of the grievances, they start bubbling up, right? Like, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, but, like, all the grievances that they existed before that. And then it's, like, the way that the masses operate, because, like, once you reach a certain number of people, it's very difficult to control or to reason with them. Like, I generally believe that human beings are rational creatures, but, like, in a group, when human beings form mobs, they act like animals. Like, if you look at a pack of dogs, that's pretty much how a mob of angry people acts, right? Like, it's sufficient for a single dog to bark at you, and then you get the entire pack on your ass. And it's the same when groups of people, they organize and they form mobs. It's enough to piss off a single person from the mob, and then the entire mob comes to you. And also, like, the same way you treat pack of dogs, it's like how you're supposed to treat a mob of angry people. Back away slowly, don't run away. Like, if you run away, they start chasing after you. It's like, it's very interesting, like, the psychology. Like, if you know the psychology of dogs and you apply it to, like, mobs of angry people, it's very similar. Again, like, human beings individually, they're very rational. You can talk to them, you can discuss with them, but when they form mobs, right, like when they're out rioting, there's no communication there. There's no, yeah. But yeah, like, some Muslims generally didn't do anything. Like, they were there to study. Like, some of them, like, actually came to Romania to study and were caught in the situation where... I mean, that's pretty much how all these events go, right? Like, these pogroms and the persecutions. I don't think that UK is approaching critical mass. I think, and I'll be honest with what will happen with UK. And this is, like, my prediction of not what I want to happen, not what I wish will happen, but, like, what I genuinely think. Like, I'm looking where things are going, and I believe, with some level of accuracy, predict where it's going to end. I honestly believe that UK is going to become like Pakistan. Not in the sense of, like, the culture, I mean, like, what is Pakistan? Pakistan is a nation that has nuclear arsenals, but it doesn't have, like, a high standard of living. It's also, I don't know if, like, Sharia is actually the official religion there. But it's kind of the same, right? Like, no free speech. You have, like, people that promote and support the Islamic ideology. They also have, like, a level of Britishness, right? Weren't they part of the... I may be wrong. I don't want to say bad things. I think they were part of the colonies, right? So they do have, like, some level of understanding of the Commonwealth. But yeah, no, like, I ironically think that in the future, UK is going to become like Pakistan, yeah. From the perspective of the law, the mentality, like, everything like that, it's going to be like a nation with a strong military that's going to be allied to the United States, and it's going to have nukes. Will I be wrong? Who knows? But that's what I think. The Caliphate of France? Nah, I don't think so. Like, France is actually a lot more in control. Like, they've been deporting a lot, and especially Macron came out, like, if Macron comes out, and he's basically like, look, Islamo-leftism is destroying the republic. I mean, if Macron comes out and makes that statement, then I think, like, well, at least the elites are concerned of what's happening. There was the former UK Home Secretary warning that it will actually become like Pakistan culturally in 20 years. See, I don't know. Like, I genuinely had no idea of this, but that's my assessment. And this is my assessment without me watching what the former UK Home Secretary have said. But no, unironically, that is the destination if things continue. And I see no reason on why things would not continue.
London is a little bit different. I wouldn't say that London is the blueprint because I actually been to London. I genuinely like it, despite the fact that a lot of people hate it. But the way London is, it's like, no, London is genuinely an economic zone, a tourist trap, and it's a genuine multicultural place. What I mean by it is that you can go to Chinatown, and it's like a little China. You go to the Asian area, and you have like kebabs and stuff, and it's like you're in Pakistan, as you said. You got like the posh place where it's like the traditional England. You got the Hindi area where you have like a lot of people from India. So like London is actually this place where if you go like from neighborhood to neighborhood, you actually do experience like almost like a different culture. Like all the people walking on the streets, all of a sudden, you know, you go to this place and you see like filled with women that are wearing burqa. And then you go into another place and you see like rich people with smartphones and, you know, the ushikushi Japanese ladies going around in their day-to-day life. That's London. And you also have like, then you go to that place and you have like the guys that carry one of those like, I don't know how they call it, like a carriage or some shit. But they basically like have a chair on wheels and they ask you to sit on their chair while they're running around the city. It's really weird. Not enough people in the UK are willing to oppose the government to change course. Yeah, I made a video explaining why that is. I don't know if I uploaded it or not. I think I did upload it. It's on my main channel. And I go through the reasonings on why it is. I would never live on the other landmass of Europe, Africa, Middle East, Asia. If you want to go somewhere else, not the language isn't the important aspect, but I already talked about this in previous live streams. What you want to do is you want to go to another nation that at least has an Abrahamic religion, because you at least know the superstitions. If you go to an Asian place and you don't know the superstitions, like you can easily offend people with like trivial shit. Like bringing a clock to a Japanese person in a hospital. Like apparently that's a huge offense. It basically means that you want them to die. There's like these random shit that you wouldn't even think about, but it's like, oh, it's offensive there. You take a Japanese card, like they still have like actual cards, and there's a whole ritual in presenting someone's business card. Like, it's so fucking wild, right? Like, no one today uses business cards, at least in Romania. Like, here, if someone wants to do business with you, they're like, okay, here's my number, right? Call me. This is my Facebook page, right? This is how we present ourselves here. But if you actually go to Japan, like, all business people have business cards. And apparently, like, the way you're supposed to do this, it's like they will pick the card and you have to hold it with two hands. Because it shows that it's important, right? And the person is going to present it to you, and it has to be presented in a certain way with the picture so that it faces you. And that is their business card. And you need to treat this as if it's like the most wonderful gift that you have ever been presented. You need to look at the card with awe and admiration. You gotta use two hands to pick it, never one hand, because otherwise you're offending the person. I'm not kidding, like, this is important shit. So you're taking it with both hands, and then you have to look at it, even if you're not interested, right? You gotta pretend that you're looking at it, and then you never put it in your pocket. Like, if you put it in your back pocket, you're offending the person. And, like, offending the person, you're like, so fucking what? Well, you don't know what other connections they have. If you offend them, they can start shit-talking to your boss, they can... make sure that you don't get accepted to interviews, right? Like, you need to be very careful with how you handle this ritual. And so, like, you need to put the card into your wallet in a safe place. I mean, obviously, you know, it's important to them. Yeah, like, if you want to live there, you gotta follow the rules. If you want to do business with them, you gotta follow the rules. Because otherwise, they will call you an uncultured gaijin and never talk with you again, you know? It's, Yeah, it does sound tiresome, but like it's their culture, right? So like if you want to go there, this is why I'm saying, like if you want to go to another country, like go to a country that at least has some roots in Abrahamic religion, so that you can understand their superstitions and rituals. Because you won't find something like that in an Abrahamic religion. The only thing you'll have is in America, where you have to put your pronouns on the email, but that's pretty much it, right? Like that's a lot more. No, I don't think Japan went too far. I think it's an Asian thing. Like you will find similar nonsense in Korea, similar nonsense in China. Like it's not a Japanese thing; it's an Asian thing. Yeah, it's very formal. I don't know if it's necessarily like formal and stressful. There's upsides and downsides, but yeah, the way I describe Japanese people, it's like high school girls. Like if you know high school girls, that's pretty much it. You know, they talk nice in front of you. They're very polite, very kind, and then they gossip and talk shit behind your back. You will never know their real feelings unless you befriend them. They're very difficult to do business with because like they don't know how to say no. They usually imply it. It's like, oh god. But it's a different culture. I'm not going to complain. You know, like if you the only way you can deal with Japanese if you want to deal with Japanese. And if you deal with Japanese, then well, you gotta accept the consequences. Both good and the bad. How does the religion influence that? It's the culture. I don't know why or how, but it is. It's like various cultures have like different stereotypes and different ways of thinking. Like it's something that formed itself from the medieval past all the way up until now. Like the idea of bad luck if a black cat crosses your path. That's a Christian thing. Like you're not going to find that superstition in Asia. In fact, you may find the opposite. It's like it's good luck. Black cats are good luck. I don't know why. I have no idea. I just make the observation. I've seen Asmongold react to your. I've seen small channels react to your videos. What small channels reacted to my videos? And thank you, I appreciate it. The anime isn't real. Some of the anime is real, but a lot of the animes aren't. Yeah. Japanese prefer bowing instead of touching a stranger. Yeah, like there's a lot of these things where yeah, like here's differences in culture that don't have to do with religion. The way you behave in Canada is so foreign to Eastern Europe. Like in Eastern Europe, you do not say hello to a person on the street if you don't know who they are. Apparently in Canada they do. Like that would be so fucking wild. If a person that's a stranger to me says hello on the street, I would assume they're a con artist trying to pull a one on me. Like that is why like Eastern Europeans like rarely fall to cons. It's very difficult to con someone if they don't want to interact with you. Or if you somehow manage to interact with them, they automatically assume that you're an evil person and you're up to something. That's the mentality of a low trust society. Like we just don't talk to each other on the street. Unless we know each other, right? Like unless we're neighbors and I see you and I know you, I don't interact with anyone. Unless, of course, you know, they're offering a business, like they're a shopkeeper or a salesman or something. But other than that, no, you have no reason to talk to me. The only way you can talk to me is if you tell me I dropped my keys or my wallet. And then I say thank you and I fuck off. That's it. Yeah, if they say hello, they want money or cigarettes. Spot on. Absolutely. You don't say hello, you move on. In Eastern Europe, we say, how are you doing, testicle? Well, if you know the guy, right? If you go to a random person in the street and you go like, ah, chifash quiet, dude, you may get hands. V is great fun at parties. Well, again, if the party has people that I know, again, actually, the streets and the private place is different, right? Like, if you're at a party, that's a different environment. But I'm talking like walking on the street. And some chucklehead going like, what's up, dude? It's like, no. I moved away from London to the countryside and people say hello to each other and it shocked me. I think like the difference would be a rural area, but like a rural area has like completely different systems of governance than a city, right? Like people do say hello. Here they would usually ask you like, who do you belong to? That's a question that they ask you in a rural area. Basically, they want to know like, what family are you from, right? Like, what the fuck are you doing in their village? Because usually their village is like 1,000 people. Everyone knows everyone else, and so like if you go there, they literally want like, who the fuck are you? You know. But even then, like it's like a conversation because like they're generally curious, and you tell them, "Oh, I belong to such and such," and they're like, "Ah, all right." Brian, I'll have more of those videos coming up. We recorded an hour of footage, and I only uploaded 30 minutes, so there's still more to upload. If I upload all the, like a lot of people say release the whole video. If I upload an hour of it, no one watches. Like I noticed the thing when people click on a video and they see 1 hour, they tune out. Plus, it also allows me to take a small break, which I like. You know, like the idea of not making anything in a day is very appealing to me because every day I make 5 YouTube videos. So like finally being able to upload 10 minutes a day from a pre-recorded thing is very relaxing. And yeah, thank you for the super chats. Thank you for watching, guys. I will see you all again tomorrow. Take care.